Some of you would have seen on my channel that I put up a video. So this was Electro City Part 3. It's a film that I did the soundtrack for, and this was an immense amount of work, a huge challenge. And what I wanted to do was to take the concepts that were happening visually in the film and basically create a literal translation musically. So it involved a lot of work. The main thing was, of course, trying to make events that are happening on screen equate to events happening in the music. And so, you know, synchronizing all of that stuff was a huge challenge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through what I've got. And this particular sequence was done in Ableton Live. Let me just expand all of these tracks so you can see what's going on. And there's a lot of work here. Some of these actually look like redundant tracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these away and just double check, because I don't want you to be confused by stuff that isn't necessary. Okay, there are some here. You know, it's a sprawling project. One of the things that I will say is this wasn't organized particularly well, but that's because I was under a lot of pressure with a deadline. So I really wasn't focusing on housekeeping or anything like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically run this and jump in at certain sections and explain things that are going on. So I've got the video window running here. You're going to see the action, and be warned, it's a very violent scene, and also there is some strong language, so I will put the mature rating on this video. Okay, so look, have a listen.
What a waste of time. The warhead's already armed. Why can't we just leave this guy to be liquidated with the rest of the city?
Because Dynamite said so.
Fuck, he's made this whole thing way too personal. Let's just find Eric, kill him, grab the disc, and get out of this hellhole. Fuck, how are we gonna find him anyway? Just two of us that should meet those. If this guy knows anything, it's definitely snap us. Well, we're back up now. Half the building's in darkness. Let's just do a quick swing and get back to the extraction point. This guy's not right now.
Okay, so I'm going to backtrack and take you through some of the things that we just went through. Now, first of all, to create this tension that you heard at the beginning, I've got, it's basically an 808 drum kit. It doesn't really sound like an 808, does it? It sounds like a 303 or something like that. I'm going to show you here, this is a drum rack, and this is one of those niche audio 808 kits. Okay, so there's some real interesting kind of textures in here. And I'll show you the ones, I'll solo the elements. There you go. Tone 5. Tone 3. So it's kind of like a reverse. Just show you here, look, you can see that. Running through some processing. You can see that, saturator. Let's have a look at this one. Compressor, reverb. You know, and the filtering going on here. So you can see there's actually a fair amount of automation occurring. So the auto filter, you can see that rising up to create the sense of, it's kind of calm at the beginning, but then becoming more menacing over time. And, you know, I wanted to create a sense of a build up to the action scene. So you've got that going on here. So that's a niche audio. I think it was Planet 808, that kit. So I'll look it up and then put a link down in the description so you guys can go get that. Now, the other thing I've got here is a rumble that I didn't end up including, so I'm not going to talk about that. Let's talk about the riser that we heard. And this one has been frozen. I think I was doing this because I was having some processor issues. So let me just go and unfreeze the track. Let me show you what I had here. The Analog Lab version 2 was a huge revelation for me in the composition section of this piece of work, this whole soundtrack thing, because it gave me the option to have loads of real kind of old school analog textures and get access to them very, very quickly. It's a huge library. It's about 5,000. There you go. Look, 5,331 presets. Seriously, it's a great recommendation. This instruments like Mini Moog. Where are we? I see what. Here you go. There's all the instruments in the library, and they sound amazing. Some really great, inspiring presets. When you're working on the soundtrack and you don't have much time, the last thing you want to do is really to spend lots of time trying to find sounds. It's all about working to deadlines and getting stuff done quickly. So that rise, let me just take it back here. And actually, do you know what? I'm just remembering. I remember I had a bit of a crash or something happened, and I lost some textures. I don't think that's the right rise. It's this one. Let me just see. It's going to be layered, isn't it? Of course. Look how messy this composition is. I'm going to bring this one up, actually. So there are two rises. And the high string was coming up. You heard that kind of tension thing going on there. So where's the high string? Let me bring this one up. Let's try and get all of these musical elements together in the same area. So there we go. Let's listen to these.
Fuck, how are we going to find him anyway?
So there's that one there. There's another one here. Yeah, that's the one that I remember. I'm just wondering in that crash whether that synth sound rise there is the correct one. I wonder. Let's have a listen again.
Fuck, how are we going to find him anyway? Just two of us searching people.
No, it's not. So, you know, it was great that I froze that track because what it did, it captured it in the state where it was, you know, it was the right sound. So I'm certainly not going to save this project now that I've unfrozen it. Oh, I could always go and find the audio and drag it back in. But anyway, so yeah, unfortunately, I can't tell you which sound I used for that. But let's come down to this one down here, Resonant Pad Rise. This is Serum. That was another absolutely fantastic plugin for me. I've got a funny feeling that's on my other window. So yeah, let me just drag this over. That was a preset called the Epic Bandpass Pad. And like I said, you have two synthesizers that really did it for me on the whole movie soundtrack with Serum from Exfer and also Analog Lab 2 from Arturia. You know, both of those were real pretty much staple ingredients. The high string, what did I use for that? Helium 5. So this is a Steinberg product. And this was a really nice string patch. I don't know what I've done with that. Where's the UI gone? Is it on the other monitor? Yeah. Bring that one over. So that was the Warm Strings 4.0. And what else did I have going on there? Some sound effects. You know, this is kind of like to introduce the guy that they're going to combat with. And these were a couple from the Machine library. So that was the SFX Amon Tobin 5 and then Chris Liebing. Don't know how you pronounce his name. So sorry about that. So there we go. Those two effects being used as part of that transition. And then we've got the 303 stuff going on, but then we've got some really quite elaborate programming going on here on Contact. I'll come to that in a second. Let me just bring the drums up here. So I've got new drums that kick in. And this is where the combat starts. So let me just take it over here. Let's take a look at that programming. Look at that. And let me show you that. So I was after some really kind of tribal drum textures. And what I ended up using here was Contact. And there was this piano called the Giant. And there's a series of percussive textures in there under the Giant Cinematic preset. So let's have a listen to those. Layering some of those together, using some auto pan to move the sounds left and right, the black hole reverb here, some space, some EQing. So that was kind of like a performance, you know, and then I'm pausing the action whilst there's some dialogue going on there. So let's have a listen to that. So you can see here there's a kit. It's another 808 kit. Some sound effects there.
Give us a disc boy and we'll let you walk away.
You should have told me that 5 minutes ago.
Noise pad here. Analog Lab 2 again.
Bring me the disc.
Okay, then we've got this patch here, which I think is a great sense of drama. And this is Analog Lab 2 again, classic. I'll solo that for you so you can hear it. Running through the chorus, some EQ. Don't ask me why I use two utilities, I can't remember. So this is filtering up. Or is it literally volume up? Yeah, it is. Yeah, volume. Okay, another sequence. got a real kind of Daft Punk vibe to it. So there's another one, Analog Lab 2, Low Sequence 03. I thought that worked really nicely in that section, just to kind of hype up the combat. So let's just backtrack on one of the sounds that came in there. This one here, let me show you. Another fantastic Serum preset. Let me bring this one over for you. Inertia Wobbler. So I think it's fair to say that this soundtrack wouldn't have sounded as it does without Serum and Analog Lab 2. I think you can sense that. Okay, so we're coming up. It's a section I thought I've had the beats and the kind of hyped action going on. I wanted a bit of kind of a change in feel. So for this, gives an extra drama to this fight scene between these two. So a couple of things layered here. You've got some effects from the machine library. The impacts and the sub boom. And now we've got a pad, which is a sound that you hear on the very first track in the movie, in fact. So it's kind of like a signature sound. Let me find that for you. Here we go. And this is from a lovely VST called Sunriser, which is like a virtual JP 8000. Very distinctive tone. Well, there's that really bad rise effect that's totally incorrect. But here it was a sense of that whole kind of descending drama kind of vibe going on there. So that's why I had those keys going down and leading into that point where there's a transition to another scene. And of course, that other scene will be another video at some point. I'll show you the way that I put that together. So anyway, that's it. You could see there that I'm literally trying to translate those moments on those scenes into musical elements. So it was just a sense of just kind of getting in there and performing certain elements at certain points. One of the things that I'll tell you, one of my little secrets is that what I did to determine the tempo, really, I guess the right tempo for these sections was to basically mark the start and the end of the scene and then set my kind of tempo markers to be the right duration, so that actually at the end of a bar it was like the end of the scene. And what I'll try and do is I'll show you that properly on another video, so you get a real sense of understanding of that. For me, that was a real crucial element of getting these scenes to match the video tempo as such. And I've got to say a massive shout to Kelvin and the rest of the crew on Electro City. If you haven't watched the video, I'll provide the links, you can watch that as well. Check out their work, and some great work by some of the stunt people there, and editing, effects, the whole lot, absolutely fantastic. And it was a real pleasure for me to be able to work on the project. So that's about it. If you have any questions, please give me a shout.